Why are we here? Why? You know, that's been the question that quite a number of people have been asking me. Why are you having this hearing? What does this have to do with inflation? What does this have to do with the cost of living? What does this have to do with the everyday lives of Americans? Our right does not mean that we as Americans are not free from accountability. That they have Mr. Kennedy here because they want to protect his free speech. That they do not believe in American censorship. This is not the kind of free speech that I know of. The free speech that is protected by the Constitution's First Amendment. But free speech is not an absolute. The Supreme Court has stated that. And others' free speech that is allowed, hateful, abusive rhetoric, does not need to be promoted in the halls of the people's house. Let's not even think about what happens in 2024 with Russian trolls, Iran, China trying to interfere in our elections. They want to force social media companies to promote conspiracy theories because they think that's the only way their candidate can win based on disinformation this committee itself spread, all under the mantra of free speech. It's a free country. You absolutely have a right to say what you believe, but you don't have the right to a platform, public or private, even when those theories violate very basic terms of service about deliberate disinformation and promoting violence. Anyone who doesn't agree with their point of view deserves whatever hatred and threats are thrown at them, such as election deniers who openly follow white supremacy without any condemnation to promote quasi-science for those that are such as white supremacy. But it's clear that one aim of his investigation is to bully tech and media companies into turning a blind eye to right-wing extremist conspiracies, from QAnon to the Great Replacement theory. They intentionally chose to elevate this rhetoric to give these harmful, dangerous views a platform in the halls of the United States Congress. That's endorsing that speech. That's not just supporting free speech. They have co-signed on idiotic, bigoted messaging. Things such as the replacement theory that says that brown people are replacing good white Americans here in this country. Let's not remember that this country first belonged to brown Native American people. It's a rallying cry for bigotry and hate by manipulating Black and other vulnerable communities to propagate these pseudosciences, who also frequently suggest that Americans have to deal with COVID rules as the same as oppression of Nazi Germany. Indeed, some have even questioned whether the Holocaust took place. They compared the COVID vaccine to the Tuskegee trials, and making the comparison that manipulates and preys on Black people's feelings about the atrocities of the past, but tells the Black community in chattel slavery, you don't have to feed them the same way because they can take it. They can handle that. They don't need as much. Or now with COVID, they've got superhuman genes that they don't need to get the same vaccines in, and they may be more susceptible if you get vaccines. The race card is something that's often used against Black people for bringing up when they see race hatred being propagated against them. And it's a means to try and keep us quiet and keep us in our place. Oh, you're playing the race card by bringing up what is obvious in our lives, what is obviously happening, race. And so you can keep saying I'm race baiting and try and censor me, but I'm gonna continue to tell the truth. Again, I go back to just the fact that we are creating a platform for this kind of discussion, not about the censorship, not about free speech, but the content of some of that speech that we are amplifying in this room. I'm appalled they want to give expression to the most vile sorts of speech here in this committee room because it prepares the ground for their own conspiracy theories and pseudoscience. And they apparently don't care how many people are hurt or die as a consequence of their actions. And myself, a mother of 5 Black children, that I should really be careful and not necessarily have the same safeguards to protect my family, my children, from a virus that has killed millions of people because I'm Black. Because nothing is more important to them than power. But that freedom doesn't mean that the rest of us can't see what they're doing and demand something better from our representatives. Let's be better. Let's get about the business, the real business of the American people, and stop the division, the divisiveness that is being promoted through this committee.
He's going to go a little longer.
Excuse me, point of order. I know that witnesses usually have 5 minutes. I see 10 minutes on the board. Is it going to be 10 minutes for every witness?
We'll give him 5 minutes, but we're pretty lax with this. We'll let him go for
we are?
a little, yeah.
I've seen you gavel down on quite a number of witnesses.
We've given senators and former Democrat members of Congress and all kinds
He's
of folks
neither.
time.
He's neither.
I'm just saying in past history.
Okay,
in
okay.
committee. But
Let's just watch the time for all the witnesses.
And if you want to cut him off and censor him some more, you're welcome to do it.
Oh, that's not my job. That's your job. Why don't you threaten a witness so that they can not want to be a witness?
Mr. Kennedy is recognized for his opening statement.
I'd like to just respond very briefly to some of the, what I would call defamations that have been just applied to me by the ranking member. I'm happy to talk to you about my opinions on these issues, what you have stated and tried to associate me with. You tried to associate me a moment ago with the replacement theory, which is racist.
No, I did not say you had the
belongs to the
replacement
gentleman
theory.
from
I said my colleagues.
The time belongs to the gentleman from
I
Kentucky.
denounce that theory. It is racist, and I have never endorsed it or had any association with it. And my views are constantly misrepresented. And to say that I created a film that encourages Blacks not to get adequate medical care is just completely abhorrent.
Don't misuse my words.
It's the witness's time. Do not censor the witness.
I'm not censoring the witness. I'm not censoring the witness. He's still talking.
It's my time, and I've given it to the witness. Do not censor him.
I'm not censoring him.
If the views that you and others have applied to me, have attributed to me, if they were actually true, I can see why I shouldn't be able to testify here today. Those are not true. These are defamations and malignancies that are used to censor me, to prevent people from listening to the actual things that I'm saying. And I think, ranking member, that we should have a real conversation rather than an exchange of ad hominem attacks.
Wow. The irony and cognitive dissonance from the other side of the aisle, it's deafening. You could cut it with a knife. They are at the same time denying that censorship is occurring, but suggesting that there's more material that needs to be censored.
It's just this, I can't even believe this is a conversation. Like, this is not controversial or taboo. We live in the United States of America, and you have the right to say whatever you want, to print whatever you want, and to read whatever you want. Mr. Kennedy.
A government that can censor its critics has license for every atrocity. It is the beginning of totalitarianism. There's never been a time in history when we look back and the guys who were censoring people were the good guys. All of us grew up reading Arthur Koestler, Robert Heinlein, Aldous Huxley, George Orwell, and they were all saying the same thing. Once you start censoring, you're on your way to dystopia and totalitarianism.
Thank you for just very compelling answers and compelling testimony and the work you've done and how important this is for the country. I mean, if we don't have a First Amendment, it's just, I'm frightened by where we go.
May I, Mr. Chairman?
You may not. You may not.
I just
Mr.
want to
Chair.
respond.
Mr. Chair, the time is out. We're done.
I haven't adjourned the hearing, and I don't think you're the chair.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair,
Chairman's discretion.
I know it's your discretion,
We're going to let
but
Mr. Kennedy.
he has had so much additional time.
Well, I think everyone's had
Why?
additional time. and
Why?
we're gonna
Why are you doing that specifically for him?
Because we
I
don't
just
believe
want
as
to
opposed to other
explain
people.
I'm sure the witness,
super PAC.
I'm sure the
On
Democrat
other
witness will be
places.
as short as he possibly can.
No. Are you going to allow our witness to just give another piece?
No,
of
let him
wanna-
address
I
the
wanna
defamatory
acknowledge-
comment that was made
Address-
about him that's untrue.
That was not defamatory. That is a legal definition that was not met.
I want to acknowledge
it my-
information about the super PAC that you mentioned.
Go ahead.
I've just been told that that super PAC is connected to somebody that we have a connection to. It's not a super PAC that I've endorsed, and it's not one, as I said, that I've ever heard of.
Thank the gentleman for that statement, and I thank you for your testimony. The committee is now adjourned.